Hello, I'm Kelly Ryan, and I'm CEO of Incourage Community Foundation, and I'm happy to welcome you to this month's edition of Are You In?, capably hosted by our own Carol Davis and Rick Merton. Before we get into current subjects, what I'd like to do on behalf of the foundation, all of us, the staff, the board, is express great appreciation to the community and to our partners that helped support a really remarkable community picnic at Lake Wazeecha. It was just great. We envision that this event will only become larger. Thank you again to everyone who participated, everyone who supported, and you can trust that this will be an annual event, and we look forward to seeing you next summer at Lake Wazeecha. The details will be forthcoming as soon as we have a date confirmed. Also on today's show, there's some interesting work that's happening and stories around education. As we began to do work in the area of workforce development, so worker training opportunities, we stepped into education in a broader sense. What we did as a group, and as a group I mean Incourage facilitating with multiple partners at the table, discussing how do we make a stronger connection between business and our educational system, K-12 and mid-state tech. Once again, Incourage is, I think, doing what we do best, and that is connecting people, connecting institutions together to actually build relationships, learn more about each other, and discover that we have common interests. And if we were to come together and think about and actually align our resources towards a common objective, we will achieve so much more as a community. Today I want to just give you an update on the Daily Tribune building and invite you and encourage you to please come to the first community meeting, which is going to be held on October 8th. What we're hoping is that residents will come and participate in each of the four meetings because they will be sequential and they will build on each other. The ultimate end goal here is that residents participate in helping determine the end use of the Daily Tribune building. There is unlimited potential in that building. What is really essential in the adaptive reuse of that building is resident engagement. Have a stake in the future of not just that building, but a stake in the future of downtown and a stake in the future of our community. I would encourage you, please mark your calendars. October 8th is the first meeting. We'd love to have you there. I just want to say thank you for tuning in again. Invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show.
Hello and welcome to
Are You In? A show by your Incourage Community Foundation.
It recognizes and celebrates the many good things happening in our community.
And it highlights the courageous work being done by our friends and neighbors.
We've got a lot happening on today's show.
Like always, we'll take a look back at our community picnic, see if you know anyone we talked to.
Each month we'll give you an update on our Tribune building project.
Recently, a traveling classroom rolled into town to spark kids' interest in technology. See if they made a connection.
Ooh, love the puns. And there's always a lot happening at Incourage. Find out what's going on over the coming months.
Today we're on location at this wonderful site.
It's part of a monthly segment we call
Where Are We in Southwood County? We're not giving away where we are.
We'll give you a couple hints, but you'll have to guess and stay tuned.
This site is located on land owned by Riverview Hospital.
Okay, this is the first year for this community site.
It will make you want to dig in, and it leads to growth.
Ooh, more puns. Well, we will reveal where we are later, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dimitri. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids. My favorite thing about my community is that we can all be together when we have these parties of Community Foundation.
My name is Brad Rosendick. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids, and what I love about my community is that everyone's very friendly, and no matter where I go, I always feel like I'll run into someone I know, whether it's someone who I've seen just this week or someone who I haven't seen in a couple of years.
Hi, my name's Tracy. I'm a Choctaw Savage from Wisconsin. I was born in Wisconsin. I love this area, and I'll probably die here, but everybody that I've ever met here has been wonderful. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
I'm David Farnborough. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids, and the thing I love about my community is that it's a huge group of friends. Everyone here is friends.
I'm Mary Vang. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids, and the reason we're here today is because this is actually our first time, but we really enjoy community involvement, and this is a great way for us to get involved in the community and have just a big party.
I'm Michelle Bond.
And I'm Jean Sorensen.
And we're here. We didn't come last year, so we just thought it would be a fun thing we needed to check out. And Great Expectations was here serving the food, so we love Great Expectations.
Wisconsin Rapids is a really giving community. That's one thing that you can always count on. If somebody needs something, they are always right there to help out. And I kind of feel like we should be a part of that too. And they reached out and said, everybody come in and talk to people you don't know, so here we are.
We'll talk about sparking teens' interest in technology.
In August, the Spark Fun National Tour stopped in Wisconsin Rapids, bringing technology terminology, tips, and tools to area students.
What an alliteration.
Terrific.
Well, great. Spark Fun staff taught a one-day workshop to 24 area high school students, showing them that electronics can be a vital part of education.
Swanson Labs and Incourage supported the tour, and 5 area businesses donated funds to purchase state-of-the-art electronic boards.
Thanks to all for making the day a great success.
The Spark Fun National Tour is our first attempt to teach a class in every single state in the U.S., including Alaska and Hawaii. They're actually learning what goes on inside of their computers at home. It's really simple, it's just that people don't get exposed to it very often.
In August, the Spark Fun National Tour stopped in Wisconsin Rapids, teaching students lifelong electronics skills such as programming and building circuits.
Having students explore and play with science and technology is increasingly important because they're going to be out in a world that is very technological, and that's where they're going to be competing.
We encourage students to sort of explore on their own while we're talking to them, and I heard lots of noises and I saw lots of lights blinking, and that's always a good sign.
Today we learned about computer programming. We worked with circuit boards and wires. We got to make noises, light up lights, learn different computer programming.
Learning all this new stuff, it helps kids better understand how this is all integrated into everyday stuff we use.
I've been considering video game design, so that would be really helpful. Everything that we learned today, there were a lot of components you could use in that field.
I didn't know that little circuit board could do so much stuff, and it's quite amazing what you can do.
While this is the smallest city the Spark Fun Tour will visit, there are benefits to being in a rural site.
We are probably the smallest stop. They've been to New York, LA, they just came from Chicago yesterday, they drove up. So we're definitely kind of a blip, but doesn't matter to them. Wherever people willing to learn are, they're willing to come.
We find some really enthusiastic electronics hobbyists in the rural areas. There's often a lot more freedom to do bigger projects, louder projects, and we see a lot of people taking advantage of that too.
In addition to the lessons learned, students took home a state-of-the-art microprocessor that they can use for future projects.
Today the students will be lucky enough to take away a board that is similar to the one that we used to teach the class today, and they can use that to hook up to their home computers and continue to explore the physical computing concepts that we played with today.
They give us basically kind of what we have. It's another like Arduino board system, but it's already got a bunch of like buttons and joystick things wired into it. It almost looks like a game controller.
Local businesses, schools, and individuals work together to bring SparkFun's real-life technology skills and experiences here. Now that they've sparked an interest in technology and science, students' career opportunities are endless.
We had great involvement from the local high schools. They are all represented. They all brought students. Even homeschools are represented here. It's been a great community event. You know, it isn't really about any one entity, so it was great to see that come together. And also in the summer when it's typically hard to do this sort of thing. School's out, it was not a problem. We could have filled another classroom easily, and we hope to going forward.
From our community survey, we know that 92% of residents are concerned about jobs and the economy.
And rightfully so. Within the Workforce Central Initiative and the Manufacturing Partnership CEO Peer Council, we know that many area companies struggle to fill positions within the science, technology, engineering, and math disciplines, otherwise known as STEM.
These positions are good, family-sustaining careers with benefits. In a perfect world, we'd have enough local people with the needed skills and education to meet this need.
That's why Incourage initiated a business and education collaborative to address the skills gap and increase awareness of the local career opportunities.
In the studio to talk about this effort are Kathy Stebbins-Hintz from the Wisconsin Rapids School District, Jake Capelli from NewPage, and Gus Mancuso from Incourage.
Well, that brings us to the interview portion of our show today. We know from the community survey last year that 92% of area residents are concerned about jobs in the economy. So to start off with, I'd like to ask Gus to tell us about what inspired Incourage beginning the Business Education Initiative. Gus, could you tell us how it all started?
Last August of 2012, we held our first meeting between the 3 school districts at the time represented, Wisconsin Rapids, Port Edwards, and Nakusa, and we talked about the gap. And the gap is basically the need for skilled workers in a specific area, and also for us to get the word out and make people aware. So those are really the 2 focus points of the meeting. It was really a benchmark meeting in many respects because it had the earmarkings of the beginning of a really neat relationship that's occurring right now between business, education, as well as the community. So that was the birth of it, if you will, and so we're very, very excited about it, and we're finding out so many positive things are coming out of it. So that's how it all started. Okay. So we've been meeting together. Incourage has been facilitating the meetings between approximately 14 or 15 different people that are coming together on a very regular basis.
Kathy, you were an instrumental in this initiative. Can you speak to, your perceptions at the beginning, what your expectations were, and where that's come since then?
At the beginning, I was very much a learner, and I think most of us as educators we knew what we provided in terms of job preparation, but we didn't really have an understanding of what the community needs were and how we could help facilitate, student growth into jobs within the community that are needed. And so I felt like when we came in as educators, we just had so much to learn, and there was all that acquiring information. And then we were able to share with businesses what we could offer, and that has continued to build that relationship that Gus was talking about. So there's definitely been a give and take, and as far as expectations, I'm just very happy with what's happened.
And Jay, from business's perspective, Gus mentioned the crucial nature of getting businesses in this initiative. Can you speak to what interested you personally in participating, and then more broadly, the industry or NewPage?
Sure. I've been involved with Project Lead the Way for many, many years. Okay. And beyond that, we do private tours for student groups, do some job shadowing with students. It's nice to see how the students see their needs of learning. From the business side, I've managed the co-op intern program since '96, so it's nice to see a lot of young candidates that I may have talked to even as junior high schoolers or in high school come up, and then they're looking for opportunities to even gain more experience. And then hopefully, our end game is we can hook those people into staying in the area and coming working for us or the other industries in our area.
Since you brought that up, can you speak to what it's like for industry to try to find individuals with the needed science, technology, STEM skills?
Yeah, we've had several openings come up over the years due to retirements and so forth. So we've been trying to fill different positions. We've actively recruited in the area, and then obviously our search goes out wider. The last one was an electrical engineering position. We wanted to get someone with a little bit of experience, but we ended up getting a college graduate instead because we couldn't find any other candidates that were interested in coming to the area.
And where did that candidate come from?
That candidate came from Western Michigan University.
Okay. So as a part of the initiative, I know that educators from the different schools went into area businesses, industry, to see what's going on in the businesses, to talk to the HR personnel in terms of hiring practices, the needs. And I know that businesses also went into the schools to see what's going on in the curriculum, what the kids are doing, what the kids are learning. So could each of you tell us what was your aha moment, if you will, or any surprises from both of those sides of the perspective?
One of the biggest surprises for me are the number or potential number of jobs that are available in the community that we need to fill. And so putting students first, we need to be sure students understand those jobs are available and provide them what they need to be able to fill those jobs, or direct them in terms of higher education into the areas that they need to be trained to fill those jobs. So that was the real aha moment, that we have a very job-rich community, if you will, available in the future, but we have to make sure we want our kids to stay and we want them to be able to enter those fields and be successful. So we have a responsibility as educators and as a community to make sure we're getting those kids ready for those things.
And Jay, from your perspective, for the business contingent that went into the area schools, did you have any surprises or?
Well, from my standpoint, it was just interesting to see the type of experiments and labs, the hands-on involvement that the students were getting, from science to even the math, spatial analysis, softwares. It was nice to see some of those things. It was even better to meet some of the curriculum developers for the students to help them understand what our needs were. And as Kathy had mentioned, one thing for me, and you sort of take for granted that people know what you're doing in the mill, but when we did the tours, I think people sort of look at the outside of the building, it's 100 years old, and they don't realize that inside is state-of-the-art technology. I mean, we have robotics, we have autonomous vehicles, we have continuous process flow control systems where you hit a start button and you go on to other work and it just does its own control system to it.
And Gus, one of the components of the group, one of the missions is to try to raise the awareness of the opportunities in the community. Can you talk about efforts there in terms of trying to raise awareness in the community of what the potential is here?
There's no question that, as Kathy referenced earlier, that in the very near future, and I guess the near future is all relative to how one looks at what the near future is. Certainly within the next decade, there are going to be lots of jobs available, particularly at Domtar as well as NewPage in terms of, and Corenzo as well, that people are going to be reaching retirement age. And in fact, in our study, we noticed there were quite a few people working beyond what we would consider the traditional retirement age. Those jobs are going to become available, and we need to get the word out. One of the things that we need to do, and if we're talking candidly with our viewing audience, is We have to change the language in which we view manufacturing, not only in our community, but across the state. Manufacturing, as Jay and Kathy have said, needs some skill sets. And they're great jobs. They're family-sustaining jobs. They involve both hard skills, as we've talked about, and soft skills. And people need to talk in a more positive way about manufacturing in our community and the potential asset it shows. I see this as a journey. I think we all see it as a journey, and I think those committees will continue to do the work, and I think give us more confidence in stepping out and accentuating the positive. And I think there are great things to come if we all work together.
Well, this is a great example of the community coming together and addressing a real need. And we want to encourage both you, Kathy, and Jay to keep encouraging and supporting our community. And we thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Rick.
Gus already has a mug. So.
Oh, okay, he doesn't need one.
There's always a long list of things happening at the Community Foundation, but here are highlights for this month at Incourage.
That's right, it's not gray out there. These are highlights.
That's right.
We've got count them, four dates for deciding what will happen with the Tribune Building project.
Wait. Before we give dates, let's give people one last chance to tour the Tribune Building.
Okay. They're led by Incourage Board Chair Helen Youngworth, who is also the retired publisher of the Daily Tribune.
Helen does a great job on tours, and we want you to get inside this building and get ideas. How do you think it should be used? Call Incourage at 715-423-3863 to book your tour.
And whether you tour the building or not, we want you to be involved in determining its future.
That's right. We'll be holding 4 meetings over the next 4 months for idea gathering and decision making.
Our first meeting is Tuesday, October 8th at the Centralia Center from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's free and open to all.
Ever wonder how you leave your mark in this world? Well, participating in this project means you'll be part of making history.
Don't miss this chance.
Every month we're working on many projects, but that's what's happening at Incourage this month. Okay, we're back, and it's time to find out.
Where are we in Southwood County? While summer's coming to an end, harvest time continues at local gardens and farms.
But not everyone has land for a garden.
No space? No problem. This year, Growing Friends Community Gardens put down roots in Wisconsin Rapids.
Now everyone has the opportunity to grow their own fresh, healthy food.
What a great idea. And here's Laura Locken to tell us more.
The Growing Friends Community Garden is located at the corner of Spruce and Hill Street in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. The whole point of wanting to do this community garden was to get a variety of people from the community, people that maybe have food security issues, people that maybe are brand new gardeners, have never done it, they live in an apartment building so they can't have a garden, people that are really, just don't have enough money to have a garden, or the elderly. The whole idea was just to bring people together, to work together, to garden together, to learn together.
Laura's quest to create a community garden in Wisconsin Rapids connected her with many people and organizations.
I had been in contact with the city, with the school district, and just trying to figure out, I would pointed out some empty lots and was trying to find out who owned them and if there might be a possibility that we could use them. And after a few meetings, one of the people who came to the meeting was from the Wood County Health Department. And that's how we ended up eventually getting to use this property that Riverview Hospital owns.
There is a minimal cost to rent space, which includes tabletop, raised bed, and traditional garden plots.
We ask for a fee of $10 per year per gardener, preferably per bed, although we do have a few gardeners that might have 2 plots and only paid for one of them. But we also offered vouchers. Right now we have 36 4x8-foot beds, and they weren't quite full this year. Next year we hope to have all 36 of them taken, and I do have people on a waiting list for next year already. Right now we have 8 4x4-foot tabletop beds and We had 2 of them that never were filled, but we're hoping we will have all 8 of those filled next year. We're working with the Family Center and the Hmong community, and 11 of the 12 20 by 20 foot plots that we have finished this year are being used by Hmong women in the community.
Collaboration has ensured Growing Friends Community Garden's success in its first year.
We've been collaborating with a lot of different people. The Wood County Health Department has been awesome as far as collaboration goes, and the UW Extension Office has been wonderful. Another pleasant thing is all the support we've gotten from Riverview Hospital, from the city, from different businesses in the area that have given us deals on things or given us things for free.
While it's off to a great start, support is needed for the community garden's future plans.
We do encourage people to donate time and or money. We normally have brochures available on site, or they could call me at First Congregational Church. In the future, we are also hoping to get a greenhouse possibly, or a hoop house. Hopefully someday we'll be able to start really early before we can actually plant in the ground. We'll have things growing in a greenhouse. The people that I've met have been so nice and so helpful, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and I hope we can expand someday, even though it's been a lot of work, but it's been worth it, and I just hope people get more involved and that we can see more community gardens in the future.
Oh, well, that's it for today's show. We appreciate you taking time to get the inside scoop about your community and the work of Incourage Community Foundation.
If you have a story or idea that highlights something good happening in our community,
or courageous work being done here, contact us here at Incourage. We'd love to feature it. This month, someone suggested the community garden story, and we featured it.
How about that? And your story could be next. As always, a huge thanks to River City's Community Access for hosting us.
Tune in next month for another edition of Are You In?